Cool. So
Là.
thanks everyone for being here. We're about to run
Bonsoir à
some Phantasy Star
tous.
for any percent. Yeah, I'm ready to get going. Are y'all ready to get going?
On est parti pour la ronde de Phantasy.
Let's do it up on go in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so for about the first, maybe almost 10 minutes, this will look almost exactly identical as to what you might be familiar with the NMG run and probably 100% as
Du
well.
coup, on va commencer assez.
So what I'm going to try to do is, unfortunately for the rest of you, try to get a lot of the info dumping in ahead of time as appropriate, and then when I'm doing something specific, hopefully you'll kind of have the foundation.
On démarre avec
un
petit
if not, if the commentary just wasn't good enough for you to understand, it's definitely
sur le
Pidge's fault,
stream
not mine.
qui
So-
s'appelle, que je dis pas de bêtises, Chaz, et qui a été pris sous l'aile de Alice,
Pidge's
qui est
hero is moral
un
support,
peu
as a good friend of
sa
mine,
mentor.
also
Hein.
against her birthday, so. But all right.
Oh, thank
Et
you.
vous allez voir que le début de run va commencer assez,
Okay, so let's
assez
start
sévèrement.
with menus. I'm sure that's very exciting. One of the things you don't really think about is how the game should think about
Il y a un
menus.
petit peu
If you're in a menu, you're also not moving your
cinématique
character,
là,
right?
qui
So
nous
it kinda
explique un
keeps
petit
a counter of how
peu le
many
lore.
menu windows are open, maybe 1, 2, 3 or 4. The point is that if that window is not zero,
Et du
then
coup,
it
on va
knows you're in a
commencer,
menu
on
and you
commence dans
shouldn't
une
be moving
université
around. So that's kind of
pour
the first
enquêter
thing
pourquoi
we're
il y a
gonna try
une
to mess with,
prolifération de monstres
as I kind of do the basics there, is that
qui sévit dans la région, on va dire.
and people who've played this casually may have actually run across some version of this menu glitching before. It just probably didn't result in anything for you. But if you open some menu windows and then you close one by hitting the cancel button, and then you hit the cancel button again on a very specific frame,
Du coup, on va lui demander, qu'est-ce qui se passe, dans le coin, hein, parce que bon, c'est pas trop normal, hein, parce que on tue des monstres, mais bizarrement ils reviennent toujours.
But for some reason it is, and so once you kind of glitch the menu that way, then all kinds of variables come into play, most of which are going to either result in nothing or you locking your game. So anyone who's ever messed with that before probably didn't get very far. But with a lot of research and banging their head against the wall from folks like Jacid and Mormont and Vio, who I wish they could be here, they were actually able to put a route together where you can beat this game in 30-something minutes.
Bah là, il n'y aura pas trop de temps de voir les labyrinthes.
Là,
clairement.
Du
coup, on sera accompagné d'un troisième personnage et on va commencer à enquêter dans les sous-sols de l'université. Et là, on voit déjà qu'on fuit déjà les mobs, hein, parce que pas le temps, hein, c'est une perte de temps. Speedrun, on n'aime pas trop les labyrinthes, tout à fait.
And just remember that we opened that chest for
du coup, on va se diriger directement vers le boss.
We're just going to kind of progress the game until, if you're familiar with this game, until we get the character Rune, and then we're going to move on to the next town after that, and then that's when stuff's going to start. This is probably the first good time to send it over to my host buddy Shadow Killer. I don't know if
du coup, on utilise l'espèce de... Alors, c'est pas vraiment de la magie qu'on utilise actuellement, c'est des techs, des technologies en fait.
Head over to theyeti.com/RPGLB.
Donc, on va essayer de
and know that $5 from every shirt purchased will be donated directly to
on tue les mobs.
Remember, Yeti is spelled Y-E-T-E-E. theyeti.com/RPGLB. I want to start off strong real quick. We have a $500 donation from Ronza.
Ooh.
Yep. Les gens s'étaient débarrassés du méchant.
Says, you know, it's all about the bichphuongballz, baby.
I agree.
Du coup, petite discussion entre les personnages. Hein.
The Countess sends in $101 coming in strong. Good luck to my buddy bichphuongballz. Can't wait to see you crush it.
Donc là, ouais, on est dans une fabrique de monstres en fait qui est située sous sous l'université, donc on va se confronter au principal pour lui faire lui cracher le morceau et lui demander pourquoi. Et il va nous expliquer que Zio, du coup le méchant un peu de l'histoire, lui a foutu la pression pour qu'il fasse cette fabrique de monstres.
Big 3/inline. Pyramid complete. Good luck walking.
Là voilà, on voit la perso qui me traite un petit peu papy là.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Corgitron sends in $10 and says, "What are we?"
Bon, il dit
what we are
Pépé,
witnessing
écoute,
is
tu
nothing
nous dis
less
ce qui se
than
passe
video
là
games.
parce que bon.
Enjoy this moment in speedrun history. Love you, Bic.
Thanks, Kyle. Say hi to Kelly for me.
We've got another
Là, du coup, on
$100
voit que
donation
le
from Iron
professeur,
Flip-Flops. Do it for
j'ai
Jade
perdu son
Primo,
nom.
Bic.
Le professeur,
The legend. Thank you so much.
tic, merde.
Black Troop sends in
J'ai plus le nom, mais
$25
que le
and says,
professeur du coup a
RPG
été
Limit Break is
pétrifié et on
such
va
a
essayer
wonderful event.
d'aller le
Y'all
sauver.
rock.
Et du
Agreed.
coup là on va partir avec Anne pour retrouver le prof
Got
qui est parti
$25 from Lisa Rocks,
vers la
Rocks.
Perth
Always good to
Valley
see household
où il
name
semblerait que ça soit la
bichphuongballz.
merde.
I like seeing him too.
So do I.
Thank you.
We've got $20 from
On va chercher un médoc qui s'appelle Ashline pour dépétrifier.
My man Vio.
Et on va aller dans un village de Motaviens qui a été rasé par est tombé sur qui a été rasé et tombé sur une.
It wouldn't be I wouldn't be anywhere near where I was if it weren't for people doing actual work and not like me just stealing all of their work all the time and then going to RPG limit break. But Vio again, that's such a big help. He was the
Alors, du coup, moi, la run que j'ai vue, j'ai pas trouvé de run du runner en fait, et je me suis, j'ai regardé le premier mondial qui runnait cette catégorie en tout cas. Donc, il se peut que ça va être un peu différent de ce que j'ai noté.
So how would you say Chaz is in this speedrun versus the run you did in 2019? I understand he's a bit of a
Désolé d'avance si c'est un
controversial
peu
character
décousu.
among Phantasy Star 4 players.
All right. So,
Tac.
I'm sure we all know, doesn't need to be said, Chaz is maybe not my favorite character in the game. That might be putting it lightly, but to his credit, if you do a lot of work to break the game
Donc là, on chie.
and cheat a lot,
Et
then he
normalement, on
actually
va se
becomes
diriger vers.
really useful. So if you're willing to break video game law, then he's cool.
Là.
Oh god, I just said he was cool.
Well, before the run started, Vic was saying to me, you know, he hits the ceiling of coolness, and the ceiling is.
Oui, voilà. Du coup, on est dans le village rasé. Et là, du coup, on tombe sur Rune.
Okay, so
Et du coup,
we got Rune
notre
now.
mentor
Nothing
va être
I've
un
done
petit
again is any
peu
different from how you would
va
normally
tomber un
progress
petit
the
peu sous le
game
charme
in speedrun
de
outside
Rune
of
du coup.
opening that one chest for now. That chest has 100 Meseta. It's basically useless. But once we get Rune and we move on, we're gonna start putting in the work. And so once this cutscene's over, the first thing I'm gonna
Du
do
coup,
is
il va nous rejoindre dans le
certain
groupe.
people's equipment, starting with 2 of Chaz's pieces, 2 of Han's pieces, and 2 of Alice's pieces.
Et du
We're
coup, il
also
va
gonna
être
set a
pratique Rune
macro.
parce qu'il va nous faire des
This macro
AOE.
you
Et là, on
normally
va
use
voir le
before the game anyway, 'cause
premier
right
glitch.
now, Rune is our killer.
Ah non, c'est pas là le
of
glitch.
enemies. And yeah, we still
Alors,
have
du
that.
coup, on voyait
Next thing we're gonna
qu'il
do is
déséquipait tout
try
le
to get
monde.
Chaz to, oops, should have fought that, but we're gonna try to get Chaz to level 4, and we're also gonna do our best to not only get him to level 4, but to make sure he's at an not a super specific experience
Là, du coup, on
range, but there's a
utilise des
couple of
macros. Alors,
ranges of experience that he has that's just
la
not gonna be good
caractéristique
for the
de jeu, en
glitches,
fait, c'est qu'on va
so
pouvoir,
try to make sure that we're gonna be
on va
outside of
pouvoir
that
utiliser des macros et
So we'll take some fights in here.
prédéfinir du
This will
coup
be some of the only fighting you're gonna be seeing in this run.
des sorts, on va dire,
But again, the
de
goal
nos
is,
équipiers
level
en
4,
fait,
and ideally a specific
pour
experience range.
pour
and
aller
if he
le
falls
plus
within
vite
the bad
possible, ce
ones,
qui
then
est
I'll
très
probably
utile
just
en
set something
speedrun
else.
du coup, parce que
After
avec les
that, we're
macros,
gonna waltz into town
pas
and
besoin
buy some items,
pas besoin d'aller naviguer
and then
dans
some
50
of the
menus.
madness is gonna start. Jazz is dead. He needs to level. Now we have to go back.
Typical Chaz.
think In practicing this game, this has happened exactly 0 times. That's okay. It's because I said Chaz was cool earlier, so he had to show me.
Well,
Donc
sorry,
là, on
that's
va
my
s'ériger
fault for
vers
bringing it up.
Tonoe.
Yeah, it's alright, I forgive you. It's your birthday. Alright, so we're gonna try to get Chaz to level 4.
Pelep.
Again.
Donc on a été faire une petite visite. Et là, non, c'est pas là encore. Je vois que je me fais avoir.
As you can see, Rune can
Hop.
just one-shot everybody. That's why you
Et
don't
du
wanna
coup,
fight
Rune,
anything
il a
previous to getting him,
une
because it's just
une
fun.
tech assez spéciale en fait. C'est quasiment une bombe atomique hein, qui
And
ravage tout,
essentially
donc
what
il
we're gonna
OS,
try to do
il
here
OS
is take
quasiment tout
fights
quoi.
that I know are kind of more lucrative as far as experience goes, which is typically anything that has at least 3 enemies or anything with the sand newts.
Hop, vous voyez, putain.
And the clue I'm
C'est
looking for
rapido.
Chaz is that he learns the technique ability Sue. And that's how
Donc
I know
on a
he's
fait une
gotten
petite
there.
pause,
So
on
I'm
a
not
fait une
gonna
petite
check
pause
the
au magasin
screens
pour
at all
acheter
until he gets to
des
level.
télépipes qui permettent de se téléporter au village déjà visité
While
et
we're
des
trying to get this
escapipes
to happen, though,
pour quitter
head back
une
to
zone
Display
instantanément.
SK for,
Qui va être
some
très
more
pratique pour la suite, hein,
Millennium.
vous allez voir.
We do have plenty of those
Hop,
going
du
on
coup,
over here.
on utilise la petite bombe atomique
Starting
de
off
Rune
with
pour aller
a
plus vite.
$50 donation from my partner in crime back here, Quiz. It says, glad to see Bick and Pidge having such a power-punching good time with their speed heroes. We've got $25 from Crack Troop. RPG Limit Break is such a wonderful event. Y'all rock.
On va sortir la
got
grotte.
$20 from our boy Nirm. Says, I love you guys almost as much as Shadow Killer loves Ace Austin. Good luck
Ah, vu
seeing the
qu'on fait pas les
frame.
fights hein, qu'on n'a pas besoin de faire, bien entendu.
Thanks, Nirm.
Thanks, buddy. Love you.
Got $50 from Elcidian. Says, I've been
Yep.
saving this donation to support, to show my support for one of my favorite runners playing my favorite
Voilà.
game of all time. And of course,
du coup, on arrive à
contribute
Tonoe.
to Nami. Thank you so
Donc ces
much.
petits hommes là,
$10 from
ces petits bonshommes là en fait sont un peu comme
Mizuki Bara, sorry about that, Mizuki Bara.
les hommes des
Happy
sables, hein,
birthday, Pidge.
clairement
I miss you and hope to see you
de
again
Star Wars. Hein,
soon.
c'est
This
un
goes
peuple
to your choice.
nomade. Hein.
Oh, I have to look at the incentive
Voilà,
list.
comme dit son nom. Hein.
We've got $16 from Millennium.
Pour les nomades.
Hey, Bick and Pidge,
Voilà.
my two favorite Fantasy Star for
Du coup, on a fait nos petits achats et on va bientôt.
listening in at work. Thanks for the jams.
Il a fini.
Mel, I hope you enjoy all
Ah,
the
oui.
menus that you see
Donc là, on
today.
va commencer à faire un petit mini
Okay,
glitch là.
Thanks, SK. So we're gonna go
Hop,
ahead
on
and
reset la
start. I'm
console.
gonna try to get this correct as best as I can. It's a little different from playing my CRT at home, but
Et là, c'est parti pour la foire à la saucisse.
you can try to see if maybe you can follow along. Of course, I'll fill you in, obviously, but right now it's just me messing up.
Allez voir, on va voir des dingueries. Donc là, il fait ses petites macros. Ah, là, ça va commencer déjà. Là.
Okay, so essentially what I
voyez
did
déjà.
was glitch the menu, the macro menu multiple times, and then I basically have tricked the game into thinking that my coordinates are actually on the world map instead of in this tent. And even though there's things it still recognizes about this tent, like there's an entrance to the next dungeon here.
Là, on va voir qu'on va se retrouver avec un personnage qu'on n'est pas censé avoir tout de suite.
Blocked staircase behind that topmost menu there.
Alors qu'on l'a pas rencontré.
The game doesn't sort of kind of know where I am. It's just going to let me walk through the block door and enter the dungeon without doing the grandfather door and cutscene and losing Rune and getting Grizz. We don't like Grizz. We definitely didn't like Grizz in 2019, and you guys donated for him anyway. We definitely don't like him here. So we're gonna just move on without him and keep our group as it is right now. And then we're just gonna progress the game for now without doing that cutscene at all. And so that's the first instance of menu glitching. It kind of just again starts with tricking the game into closing the menu multiple times. And
je crois que c'est différent un peu de la run que j'ai vue.
all kinds of different variables that we probably don't really need to.
Oui, le monsieur a cassé tout le jeu, oui. Vous allez voir, encore là, c'est... Ça va, hein, c'est soft. Donc là, vous voyez, on voit dans le texte du dialogue, on voit le petit personnage, le personnage bleu là, qui parle, mais il n'est pas avec nous. On a déjà un peu pété le jeu en fait. Donc là, on va utiliser une sorte de corde de sortie pour sortir du donjon et on va se re-TP directement à Tonoe.
After I save in this exact spot and reset the game.
Et là,
do a lot of that too, and then we're gonna try to glitch the game out again.
Là, c'est reparti pour la deuxième fois la saucisse normalement. Ah, vous voyez déjà, c'est un peu pété.
So again, we've done the same thing, but now what we're gonna make use of is again the fact that the game thinks we're on the world map. And it's going to save the coordinates that I'm on instead of the coordinates being for this town. It's going to be the coordinates for the world map. So I'm just going to save it. And when I reload the game, it'll remember the world map coordinates, not the town coordinates that I was in. And I'm going to warp to an entirely different part of the game.
Et là, zip, on s'était porté ailleurs.
Keep progressing. I could just. We actually don't really care about this town.
C'est assez ouf. Hein. Et du coup, on se.
Get to the next town, which is actually where I want to be.
Alors, on se re-TP.
Oula, du coup, it's just warping again.
Il va tellement vite que... À Ido. On se retrouve à Ido, du coup. Et là, un petit menu glitch. Là, c'est très visuel. Hein. On voit que c'est bien pété.
You get infinite tries, basically. It just obviously is going to cost time, so but it's not going to cost you the.
Pour prendre mes notes.
Okay. No, this is actually exactly what
voilà.
you want.
Là, voilà. Là, c'est bien pété là. Hop, on reload le jeu et du coup on va se retrouver à un autre endroit. Alors il revient à Ido. Attends, quoi? Il s'est planté, non?
Refresh all that just in case. There's like some
je crois qu'il s'est loupé.
There's weird stuff with this, as you can take a little extra safe here. Just make sure none of that stuff matters.
Ouais, il s'est loupé parce que normalement on est censé être TP.
So again, we're saving coordinates, but it thinks I'm on the world map, not on that town. So now we're gonna go ahead.
Ouais, c'est bien ce qui me semblait.
At this town instead.
Ouais, parce que moi d'après mes notes, normalement on est censé être au château de Zio.
HP and TP. We're gonna save, and we're gonna do a two-part menu glitch this time.
N'hésitez pas dans le chat à me corriger si jamais je fais des erreurs.
Okay, and then we're going to open the technique menu. And then walk out here.
Hop, du coup,
something ever so slightly different. Oops.
On refait le menu glitch.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
Alors, est-ce que ça va passer ce coup-ci?
Try again. Okay, try again.
Allez. Là, il fait quoi? Il rééquipe tout le monde. Ah, il te fait y arriver.
Oh.
Voilà, j'avoue que je suis un peu perdu parce que je comprends pas trop ce qu'il fait. Bon, là, ça passe pas.
Alright, got it.
Ok. Ça a l'air d'être bon.
Okay, so what we did on the first part is set up the glitch, and then we opened the technique menu, which kind of let us access this store of techniques from the game that we wouldn't normally have access to. And on the second part, we set up the a glitched macro, basically what you're seeing here. It's really not the first three things aren't really important at all. It's really that the last one, Rune having access to Nawat, which is an ability he wouldn't have till many levels from now. Now we have access to a spell that's overpowered for where we are. And then this is just a healing macro. Now, if I were to actually back out of this, I would end up locking the game. But if you go back to what I was talking about how technically you're in this like negative count of menus, because you've been tricking the game, what I can do here is set up a new macro, open up the item menu, and open up enough menus that we go from a negative number to 0, and then it lets me walk through.
D'accord. Ok.
And if you're familiar with this game, you know we have skipped a few different steps
devant le
in the
château.
story,
Du
and
coup, là, on
that's
est
on
bien arrivé au
purpose.
château.
One of the many things variables we're trying to set up for completing this game, which I haven't really talked about too much, is you do need 5 party members.
Donc là, on doit y aller en fait pour
which,
aller
you
sauver
know, would seem
une
like you're
Demi,
already
une androïde
there,
prisonnière par
but there's
Zio.
some other madness that we're gonna have to go through as well. So it's actually really important that
Ça va
I
être
skip
compliqué un peu
getting,
dans le donjon parce qu'on est super bas level et
and
ça va
instead skip all the way here and
ça va
actually
être,
get
ça va
Demi
être
first, 'cause that's
compliqué
gonna
quoi.
mess
Mais
the game up even more.
on
in
a pris,
two ways that we
ce
want.
qu'il faut pour le heal et garder au
We're
moins,
very
une
underpowered
envie.
here. I can actually wipe in here because even though Rune has a powerful
Et
spell,
on va
he himself
arriver
is
normalement
squishy,
bientôt
so
au
it's
boss
actually pretty
fight.
easy to die to regular encounters here. Should be totally fine against the boss though. We also had to set up the macro specifically not macro A, or else it wasn't going to work, but anywhere else I believe is fine. I'm going to hand it over to SK in just a second. All I'm going to tell you now is that I'm going to switch back and forth between these two macros and just slowly but surely, goodbye everyone, kill this boss. But yeah, all you, bud.
Thank you, Bic. And we have had quite the influx of love for Phantasy Star 4, so thank you guys so much for all the
On
donations.
se bat contre Suzanne, acolyte de Zio. Donc on va lancer Nawat dessus.
With a big donation
Et
from our one and only
tic,
head of safety, Wells.
Donc grâce au macro, parce que normalement on n'est pas
with
censé
a
avoir, ce sort déjà là.
$400.69 that says "Good luck, Pidge, and happy birthday."
Hop là.
Thanks. I'm doing a great job on the speedrun.
We've got $25 from the one and only Puexel that says, "Good luck to my buddy Bic and the true hero of Algo we all deserve, Seth."
Du coup on utilise Rune parce qu'il est plus pété avec sa tech.
Nonstop sends in $25, Bic PPMA. Cobalt Zap with
Du coup on utilise un
$25
nomade.
saying, "Love seeing Phantasy Star 4 on a big stage. Make sure not to forget Grizz, the best party member." All right, still good.
Oula.
Lady Ariana sends in $10.
Oula,
Good
oui,
luck on the run, and may the edge dive be forever
compliqué
kind.
là.
Also, as the greatest Phantasy Star speedrunner,
Et là, du
we
coup,
can
on
expect to
sauve
see a Phantasy Star
l'androïde.
1 run from you
Oh.
at RPG Limit Break 2024, right?
True.
Nemo sends in $10 and says, "Bic grind." Xcodes with $10. Hearing Bic talk
Et là,
about
Zio qui débarque.
experience
En mode,
ranges
coucou,
is
c'est
making
moi.
me think about bacon in
Je
FF4,
suis le grand méchant,
and that's
un gros
exciting.
gros, un gros gros.
Looking into the future, Bic?
No,
Never again?
that's a 4.
Je suis trop dark. Voilà, pour être darké là, quoi. Hein, c'est...
Is that the one?
pense qu'on
the
peut pas
only
faire plus
God
dark,
gamer
quoi.
bichphuongballz and everyone's fabulous gamer hero Pidge 0_1? I regret not being able to be at Limit Break this year, but I'm glad to see two of my favorite
Le
people
coup, petit fight,
at my favorite marathon.
petit fight contre
See
lui.
you next year, I hope. Please put this donation towards Pidge.
Et du coup, vu que c'est un combat scripté,
towards
bon,
birthday Pidge's choice.
Thank you.
on va faire exprès de
See you
perdre.
next time.
Miss you, Kay.
Got $50 from Zele. Great week and great runs. Let's upgrade Rizzo 3 to legendary. Just as a reminder, be sure to put your
Et du
donations
coup, en
towards
fait,
the big
là,
goals
le
in
boss,
the
il
Synthetics
lance,
for the next couple
il
of
essaye de
rounds.
lancer une attaque
Take a look, we've got quite a
sur
few
Chaz,
coming
en
up,
fait, une
and
attaque
they
d'ombre,
are
mais c'est Alice
pretty
qui va
close,
se jeter sur lui
but could
pour
use some help
prendre
to
l'attaque
get
à sa
over the
place.
edge.
Et du coup, on va se téléporter pour fuir
We've
et on
got
va voir Rika dans la
$25 from
cutscene,
@meansmalls.
alors que notre
Big
perso n'est
thanks,
pas apparu dans le
Chaz.
jeu. Hein. On a vu,
Okay,
vu
let
combien
me fix what I did
on a skip
yesterday.
de
Happy
choses.
birthday to anyone on the couch whose
Euh,
birthday it might
hop là.
be. Bic wins the yearly. Thank you for giving me good
Et
music
du
at
coup,
work,
Anne va
gamer.
quitter le groupe. Du
Thanks,
coup,
buddy.
on a plus
And we've
que
got
Rune et
$10
Chaz
from Zell.
et un troisième perso méga glitch.
RPGLB rocks. Good luck with the
On
thingy,
va lancer
Bic.
une cutscene qu'on aurait dû voir bien plus tôt, où on amène Lashline
Alright, for all you Alice
à
fans
Burst
out there,
Valley,
you know she
pardon,
just
j'ai
took
du
the
mal avec
black way
l'anglais,
for Chaz, but
pour dépétrifier tout le
small
monde.
spoiler, don't worry, I think you'll finish this run happy. Okay, so now I'm at a weird spot where if I open the menu at all, I'm gonna lock the game. For now.
Vous allez
But
voir,
for some
on va
weird
voir un petit
reason,
truc,
there's people you
un
can
petit truc
talk to,
rigolo,
like
c'est qu'on
Han's
va avoir,
girlfriend, where you can open the menu
on
without
va
locking.
voir Alice et Anne en cutscene alors qu'ils
And
sont
that's
plus
why
dans
I
le
saved
groupe, hein,
before I did
typiquement.
anything. Okay. Try again.
Ah, c'est loupé.
Okay. That's not supposed to happen. All right, no worries. We're gonna
C'est loupé,
disregard
décidément.
all of that. We're gonna walk out of here like plebs, and we're just gonna make it work.
We're gonna make it work because this is the best Phantasy Star speedrunner in the world.
True. All right, so we'll just take the long way. No big deal, thankfully, I think. Yeah, so one of the things that has happened now that I haven't talked about because weird things
Il
are
n'y a pas
happening,
trop de chance ce soir, le runner.
is that the reason why we get Demi first is because the game understands that you should have Rika before you're supposed to get Demi. And for whatever reason, the way the
Alors
game
que je dise pas
resolves
de
this problem
bêtises
is
du
to
coup.
take your third-party slot and put some sort of phantom RAM slot as your character in there instead, character slot 255. And
Donc
then
là
it puts
voilà,
Demi
on relance la
after that
cutscene hein, où c'est
character.
qu'on
So there's a couple
dépétrifie
things you should look out for. Number
le
one is that because I
professeur.
don't have a third character, and I guess it's programmed in such a way where, you know, character 3 is supposed to follow character 2, right? So character 4 should be following character 3, but there is no character 3. And so every time I transition to a new screen, you're actually going to see Demi sit at the entrance every single time by herself because she has no one to follow along with. She's in my party as far as that is concerned, and as far as being in my menu, and her information will show up in combat, but she can't actually be used in combat. So there's weird ways in which she's there. Yep, see, we're leaving her behind there. There's weird ways in which she's there and also not
Et
there.
du coup, on va voir
Then
un
we're going to go
mini-boss
back to
fight
this stuff, which we should have
normalement.
done already, because again, we do want that fifth character. And so now we'll finally progress through this
On
stuff
utilise
and do the
Nawat,
bio
hein.
lab and all that and get Rika.
La tech ultra pétée.
So we'll just go ahead and fight Iggy for the second time. Standard, of course.
Voilà.
Ah, just had a hypothesis. I'm a science
Donc voilà,
teacher,
hein,
sorry.
comme je disais tout à l'heure, on revoit les
And,
persos qui sont plus
one
dans le
thing I
groupe.
didn't
Hein,
really think about
vu que
at the time is that it
qu'on a
actually
tout
also
glitché,
matters which
le jeu
console it is
comprend
when
plus
you use
trop
it.
ce
This
qui
is
se
actually
passe.
not my console. It's RPGLB2023, so we'll see if that actually matters for anything. It may or may not. I don't know.
Là, du
So
coup,
far, outside of that weird
voilà,
random thing
petit
that happened,
mini
it seems to be
glitch.
doing just fine. So this is my random slot. You can see that Demi is not even there, even though she's kind of there. And this random person has gear, actually really powerful gear that I'm just going to steal and put on Chaz so he doesn't die in the biolab. Hi, Demi. And yeah, we're going to keep progressing. So let's go ahead and go.
Et là, du coup, on va aller au fond de la grotte.
Okay, so again, my party consists of Chaz in front, Rune right behind him, and Ram slot 255 behind Rune, and Demi technically behind the Ram slot, but you'll find her at the doorways or stairs every time I change screens. Just leaving her behind. It's kind of bad.
Hop. Et
But,
du
I mean,
coup, sur la
sucks at
grotte,
this
on va
game,
tomber
but
sur un
so,
système
whatever.
cybernisé. Cybernétique, plutôt.
I probably pissed off like half the Phantasy Star Discord by saying that. But sorry.
Hop, petit laboratoire.
We get to jam to my favorite song here.
I'm glad Alice is feeling better.
Là, toujours le jeu qui nous
That's
montre
right,
les
it's just in
persos
cutscenes and
qui sont
stuff
plus
here
dans le
too.
groupe.
He's doing fine, just need a little bed
Mais tout
rest.
va bien.
Alright, so the big
Et
thing
là, du coup, on va
here
tomber
is
sur les
normally this
personnages qu'on
walks
aurait
straight
dû
into the
rencontrer
file
la
lab,
première fois
but
par
then
ici,
I
en
wasn't supposed to be
fait.
able to open
Donc, ça
my
va être
menu
la
yet.
fille
You've
avec
already
les
seen
oreilles de
me
chat
walk twice before.
qu'on aurait dû rencontrer,
And so the example was
qu'on aurait
supposed
dû
to
rencontrer
be much like talking to Han's girlfriend,
plus
or
tôt, en
talking to
fait.
that shopkeeper. For some reason, after doing that, the game lets you open the menu. You don't have to do all that, but again, you can pull plasma fields off of the Phantom character and put them on Chaz, which doesn't quite make
On va
you
esquiver
invincible
tous les
in here.
combats de mob.
But it makes it pretty hard to die in here. Otherwise, the chance of wiping isn't overly high, but could happen.
Du coup, ouais, on va retomber sur le professeur Han qu'on a dépétrifié tout à l'heure.
Some cutscene action here, so if SK has any more, then now is the time.
Do I ever? The NAMI Helpline Online Knowledge Center was visited more than 236,000 times in 2022. And coming up next year, NAMI hopes to expand the helpline to 7 days a week. And we are happy to help them in that endeavor. And your donations will go a long way to help them realize this.
Voilà, du coup,
A donation of $30
on rencontre le professeur Han
allows
avec la fille avec les oreilles de chat.
support to help seekers in need. And speaking of donations, we have a $25 donation.
Donc c'est vraiment là où on est censé les rencontrer pour la première fois.
Diener, who says, "So glad we got to hang out again this year. You truly are the big papa."
Donc là, on va nous expliquer que Rika en fait est une création artificielle en se basant sur toutes les créatures qui ont existé pour être une forme de vie parfaite. Donc en fait c'est la descendante théorique de Nade en PS2, hein, parce que j'ai pas parlé des jeux précédents, mais voilà, vu que ça se passe très vite, pas trop le temps de rentrer dans le lore. Donc là, Sid va nous expliquer que c'est la merde sur Motavia depuis la destruction de Motherbrain il y a 1000 ans. Et que les systèmes de terraformation qui gardaient le climat en équilibre ne font que se vautrer en expliquant pourquoi la planète redevient une planète désertique. Sachant qu'il y a un risque de corruption à cause des systèmes météo, donc Sid va se suicider en explosant alors qu'on sort de cette zone, nous laissant Rika comme sa fille théorique pour nous accompagner. Je fais un petit point lore rapido, parce que ce qui va se passer ensuite, ça va être
almost specific looking inventory. It's about to be
assez vénère. Hein.
Unequipped a bunch of people's armor in the very beginning of the
voilà, il nous explique tout ça, c'est le merdier, tout ça.
In a specific order.
Là, le PC va péter.
Empty my inventory, so it's only those 6 items that I took off that make up my whole inventory in that exact order.
Donc là, la fille aux oreilles de chat, elle est toute contente parce qu'elle voit le ciel pour la première fois.
Do some of that stuff, and then we'll get ready for more. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and safety save here. We're going to talk to her. We need to open the menu, but we also.
Et là, du coup, vous allez voir un glitch vraiment vénère qui va arriver.
Earlier, you do need some for healing. You may have noticed in that one boss fight that I did with just Rune. But one of the main things you needed to be able to do with 10 monomates, or really just 10 of anything, is have enough stuff in your inventory to be able to flip multiple pages, or else I wouldn't have been able to do some of those glitches. So yep, that's looking good. Then don't mind that. We're gonna go ahead and
voilà.
Chaz to full,
glitch.
And then apparently lock the game. So we won't heal Chaz to full.
Donc là, on reset.
Let's do that again.
Ah, s'il vous plaît.
Now, does the junk data that you see on the screen when that happens mean anything? Like where it says la 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 at the bottom?
No, just like a standard artifact, I guess.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not just someone singing along to the tune of this song.
It could be. All right. So we're gonna warp back here, and if everything has gone correctly, what we're going to do is take a fight here.
Donc là, si je dis pas de bêtises, donc là on va chercher un combat aléatoire qui va nous permettre de lancer une macro glitchée qui va changer plein de valeurs à la RAM du jeu. Et on va s'enfuir du combat avant de se retrouver avec un groupe complètement différent. Ah. Oui, c'est raté.
Back to the very beginning of the game, which is probably a little confusing. with again a weird looking party. So I think this is maybe the best time to try to vaguely explain what's happening here. What happens when you use that glitch macro in the battle that I took is what I think VO has dubbed, what he dubbed the byte shift. And so what essentially we've done throughout this kind of preparation mode is do some seemingly random things, like opening that chest, for example. And what you're telling the game is like you're setting a certain flag of like, we have killed this boss, or we have this party member, or we opened this chest, or whatever, right? And then that's fine, that's all well and good. And then what you're doing with that byte shift is you're taking all of those flags that you set, and you are, hang on.
Je suis désolé, hein, c'est très différent de la run que j'ai maté parce que, encore une fois, j'avais pas trouvé de run sur speedrun.com du runner qu'on voit actuellement. Donc, possible que la route elle change un peu. Donc là, by the way, on va retourner en fait terminer le premier donjon.
And then once I do that battle and use that glitched macro, what I've actually done is change, instead of flags 1 through 5 being a yes, it shifts over to flags 6 through 10 being yes instead, even though I didn't do any of that content whatsoever. So you can maybe start to put together how this game can be beaten so quickly without me actually doing a whole lot. And it's because what we've done is just perform certain tasks and then kind of telling the game that we didn't actually do those tasks. We also did these other tasks, even though we didn't actually do them at all.
Donc là,
So
refight avec les mini-boss.
But it also changes some other things that I had done. Like, for example, do all of this stuff. You may remember I've done all this already in the very beginning of the game. We just have to do it again. We're going to gain just a couple levels here. Okay. And then, yeah, and then we're going to move on. There's some weird madness to this as well. Like, I had to reorder my party because Han has to be in that third slot.
Là, on revoit la première cutscene qu'on a vue. Hein.
And so even that whole part where they're walking
Et là, du coup, normalement, on va voir notre 5e personnage qui est complètement glitché.
If you don't have Han at all, you're actually.
Vous voyez, hein, son nom il n'apparaît pas.
And if people are in the wrong order, they can't get back in line, basically. So there's just weird little things that you have to do.
Donc là, on va y revoir Papy normalement.
Through trial and error and things like that.
Voilà.
That was actually a really good explanation of shifting.
Yeah, so unfortunately we have to sit.
Et du coup, on va les téléporter sur des Oris.
Alice threaten people for the second time, which.
Alors qu'on l'a même pas atteint dans le jeu. On va arriver sur la world map, on va avoir droit à une cutscene où Raja, un prêtre désorisien, c'est difficile à dire ça, qui s'invite dans notre groupe après qu'on ait accidentellement détruit son temple. On lui raconte une blague qui a été visiblement introduisible par la localisation à l'époque.
I don't know where I'm going to warp to. And then, that's not where it's supposed to send me. That's okay. And then it warps me here to this new planet with these people I've never met before.
Le fameux personnage que je vous parlais.
A green alien, or yeah, green guy.
Vous savez, péter mon temps,
because again, we've set all these flags that we didn't actually do. Now things that I've done. And when I saved right in front of the shopkeeper that very last time, was again setting very specific coordinates for me to warp specifically to that part.
Mon temporel, enfin. Ah, j'ai plus de mots. Merde.
Other cutscenes I'm gonna have to figure out,
Mon espace temporel, pardon.
Okay. We just skipped a whole lot of content.
J'ai eu du mal à le trouver
celui-là. Tac.
Du coup, on va traverser le village pour aller parler au bar et entendre les rumeurs du coin.
And then, as you'll see later, we've also stealthily accomplished all kinds of other stuff. Our goal at this point in time is not that I necessarily have
ça se passe tellement vite que tu peux mal suivre.
Be able to fly back to our home planet. That's actually where the.
Donc ça va être obligatoire, hein, c'est une chose qui est obligatoire pour débloquer la suite du jeu.
This might
Du coup, on va aller inspecter la tombe, c'est ce qu'on a fait. Parce que c'est le gars du bar qui nous l'a dit. Ça. Donc là, pour l'instant, jusqu'à présent, on fait ce qui était, on a fait ce qui était censé être dit par le jeu pour une fois. Et là, du coup, passage secret dans la tombe qui amène au Landal, le vaisseau du capitaine Tyler de PS2. De Phantasy Star 2. Donc Landal était le nom de la famille d'Alice, l'héroïne de Persona, moi. De Phantasy Star 1. Donc là, du coup, on a accès à notre vaisseau et on va retourner sur Motavia. Et ça va déclencher la cutscene qui ouvre le chemin vers le dernier donjon. Quand tous les persos se retrouvent avant la fin.
I love Phantasy Star 4 and I am so happy to
là, on
see
voit
it
tout,
appear
là.
in these
On est censé
marathons.
avoir.
Thank you.
And we've got $10 from Nick. Pidge, you're my Super
Donc là, oui,
Mario
on
RPG
retrouve, comme je disais,
hero.
on va retrouver tous les persos, dont des persos qu'on ne connaît pas actuellement. Hein. Genre Kira, Esper, enfin.
Thanks, happy early birthday.
Kira, etc. Quoi.
Okay, so
donc là,
what we were able to do is get to Dizolus,
d'où tout
and
ça,
then
on s'en fiche, hein, de
we
toute
had
façon,
kind
on va
of
téléporter
flagged
vers le
some
dernier
for-
donjon.
sorry,
The
doing a lot of the game
Edge,
content anyway, so we
traversée,
were able to actually watch the last cutscenes where you
traversée
could
du dernier
be back with your
donjon
party members
psychédélique.
and take your fifth party member, and you can. What happens when you do all that?
Et
is
là,
you
hein,
gain
pour être
access to the final
psychédélique, ça
dungeon,
va
which
être
is this big hole in the
psychédélique.
ground.
Hein.
We're going to save the game because I can technically die
Si
in
vous voulez
here,
régler votre écran, je
but
pense
if you
que c'est le
remember
bon
when
moment. Hein.
we did the basement for the second time and Chaz got
Là, je
just a
pense
couple
que
of
c'est le bon
levels, you
moment.
can
Hein.
see,
C'est...
you know, he's level 435, he's got 500 hit points, his strength is 99.
Et du
right?
coup, ouais,
So
tout
on
le
and
long
so
donjon,
forth.
on va
So
tout
the
finir, hein,
reason
parce
why we said
qu'on n'a
Chaz
pas le
is
temps.
the coolest he's ever been in this run, because it's quite literally
Et
true.
du coup, je pense que
He's
il
the
va nous
strongest
falloir
he's ever
toujours
been.
quand
You
même
wouldn't
7 de
actually
vivants,
do that in
parce
the
qu'il va être
fastest
important
routes of
pour la
this game.
suite.
The fastest routes, especially that are,
On va essayer
that are RTA viable,
de le garder en vie.
actually skip out on doing that and skip out on actually doing the basement a second time, and that's why it's a lot faster by a few minutes. But unfortunately, it puts you in a position where even though Seth is great and wonderful, he's technically a little underpowered for this dungeon because he's holding back, of course, and so it's just really easy to die in here. And what I didn't want for a marathon is to go through this walk over and over and over again, and then on the 12th try, like make it through, right? So even though that technically could still happen, it's just a lot less likely to happen. So that's why I opted to take a slower route by a couple of minutes just to make sure we could get through this and not.
Là, on va continuer jusqu'à la salle du boss.
So the last thing I want to do, as you know, the final boss should be coming up, and I have this weird party of people that.
Pas grande pour faire parfait pour l'encodage des fois. Exactement, que c'est
Ah,
mais si tu dois régler ton écran, là, c'est bien aussi. Hein. Ne vous inquiétez pas, hein, vous savez rien consommer de bizarre. Hein. C'est le jeu qui est comme ça, hein, je vous rassure. Là, du coup, j'attends un truc.
You know, the yes for I opened the chest to the yes being I defeated the final boss already. And so the game's over, that's time.
Et du coup, c'est terminé. On a rentré dans la salle du boss sans avoir tué le boss.
So the main thing you had to do there is just get the game to check if you killed the boss.
Et là, elle nous dit, c'est le portail du temps. Il y a danger, il y a danger.
Thank you.
Et là, du coup, on va avoir un truc assez drôle, vous voyez, qui tient une épée en fait, qui va les protéger, une épée qu'on n'avait jamais été chercher. Hein. C'est son épée magique Elcidion.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thank you so much for the donations.
Voilà.
Pour
vous dire à quel point le jeu a été pété. Hein. On a retrouvé des personnages qu'on on a trouvé des personnages qu'on n'a jamais rencontrés. Donc ça a été assez rapide.